The next function that we're asking you to implement is duration. Let's take a look at what you're going to need to do for that now. Let's first take a look at the signature for duration. Duration is a function that takes a fraction that's represented as a string as its input and outputs an int. And effectively, what we'll be asking you to do is take in that fraction as a string, where that fraction is going to look like something like 1/8 for 1/8, or 1/4, or 3/8, and you can assume that the numerator and denominator will each be one digit, and based on that, your goal is to return to the user the number of eighth notes long that the note is going to last. So if the input, for example, is 1/8, or 1/8, that is 1/8 note, and so your function would return the number 1. Meanwhile, if the input were 1/4, well, that's 2 eighth notes, because it's 1/4, which is twice 1/8, and so your function would return 2. And likewise, if the input were 3/8, or 3/8, then your output is 3, because that's equivalent to 3 eighth notes. And so your goal here is to take this text-based representation of the duration of a note and turn it into how many eighth notes long that note should actually last. And you can assume that the fraction will work out to a whole number of eighth notes so that your return type can indeed be an integer. How might you go about thinking about this? Well, think about what the possible values for the denominator could be. It could be over 8, or over 4, or over 2, or even over 1. And based on that, you know that if the numerator and denominator are each one digit long, and they have a slash in between them, you can figure out that, okay, the first character of that string is going to be the numerator, and the last character of that string is going to be the denominator. And now if you know where the numerator and denominator are in the string, and you know what the possible values for that denominator are, you should be able to figure out how to do the math in order to take that string-based representation and convert it into a number of eighth notes. But do be careful. If you just extract the first character of the string, remember that what you'll get is not the number of the numerator, but a character representing the number of a numerator. So think about how you might be able to convert that character into an actual number, for instance. But once you do that, you should be well on your way to figuring out duration.